So my number one film that shaped my feelings of loneliness is Anomalisa from 2015. This is another stop motion film. I guess stop motion is a very lonely medium, maybe.
It
This is
probably
it kind
is,
of is in a
right? You're
way. Yeah,
like
actually,
drawing and you yeah.
even to make it, because the artists have to sit there and move something a centimeter and then take a photo and then a centimeter, and you're just there by yourself.
I couldn't.
Me neither. This is a film written and directed by Charlie Kaufman, starring only three actors, the voices of David Thewlis, Jennifer Jason Leigh, and Tom Noonan. And the IMDb plot summary is a man crippled by the mundanity of his life experiences something out of the ordinary. So, this film and why I put it number one is because it, to me, does a very brilliant job of capturing what I found to be sometimes the hardest form of loneliness. The other two films that I talked about, Coraline didn't feel connected to any, her family, and Taxi Driver was living alone. That character, whereas the main character in this movie, has a kid, has a wife, is very well known at work. Like he's actually going to a conference where everyone knows who he is, and yet he feels incredibly lonely. So it's really that feeling of being alone in a crowd, even though surrounded by people that you feel are your friends, are your loved ones, but in those moments you do feel completely isolated and alone. And the thing that this film does brilliantly in terms of showing this, because this wasn't necessarily the plot description, is everyone in the movie has the same face and the same voice, whether they're
Hmm.
men, women. The puppets do because they're stop motion, except for the main
Hmm.
character. He has his own voice and his own face, and he meets Lisa in the film, the Anomalisa from the title. And the reason why he is so drawn to her is he hears another voice for the first time, which is again exemplifying the fact that he's not alone, perhaps, because there is somebody else in this world. And I thought that was such a brilliant way of showing how sometimes you can't just feel like everyone is just the same person because no one is
Hmm.
you. Yeah, actually, I'll first ask you: had you seen this film before?
Oh yeah, I think I saw it the year it came out. It
Yeah.
was the big kind of talked about movie. I obviously admire Charlie Kaufman a whole lot. And yeah, I was blown away by the artistry of it, the themes of this movie, and how
Mm-hmm.
those two kind of match.
Mm-hmm.
I had not seen it since. It's obviously a pretty heavy movie and a hard
Yeah.
movie
Yeah.
to go back to. But I was very happy, if that's a word, to go back to it.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually connecting back to the movie we were just talking about with Dustin Hoffman's character, you kind of get at the reasons behind the main
Yeah,
character's loneliness
he's
is
an
because
asshole.
he is a total selfish, cannot
Yep,
see anyone but himself, and is a jerk to
literally.
everyone. Well, actually, that's again what's so great is
Yeah,
literally is that. So it's is the world of his own making, and because we can't understand anyone but himself, that is a very isolating thing, and really the path to connections with other people is to not only just think about yourself, and you have to think about someone else. And in this movie, it's odd too, because when Lisa first shows up, she's different to him, but it's not even like he learns anything and tries to actually get to know her as a
no,
person. He's just using her as a, you're something different to me, like keep
right.
talking, or there's some connection that we have. But instead of trying to understand it, like in the film we just talked about, Last Chance Harvey, where those two people are trying to understand each other to help get out of their loneliness, even though he meets that person at the right person, right time, but he totally squanders it because he's so
Totally.
selfish and cannot see beyond himself. So eventually, at the end of the movie, she morphs back into same voice, same face, and you feel
Hmm.
bad for him. But at the
Hmm.
same time, it's like, dude, this is your shot, and you blew it because you still just can't get over your own selfishness.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's very sad in that sense. But yeah, the artistry and this kind of very literal metaphor just makes this so much more tactile and deeper,
Mm-hmm.
that you're experiencing it through his eyes, but also in a bird's eye view kind of manner. So
Right, right, right.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean the choice again of the medium here. I mean, you couldn't do this in live action. It'd be very
no,
bizarre to have everyone's face look the same with some CGI effect. And even traditional
yeah.
animation wouldn't look real enough. The thing that I love about this film too is it's a very unlike Coraline, which is very heightened in terms of the look of the character design and the world. This world is very realistic.
Hmm.
It captures business travel solo in a hotel. Like I've done that many times. The room
Mm-hmm.
looks like that. There's the little towel there, and these are the 3-year-old or 3-month-old magazines. They're all kind of the
Yeah.
same thing, and that is an isolating experience doing those business trips.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel that because the world is so real. I mean, I just the amount of detail they put into this is just incredible. In terms of the set and production designs. But if this was animated, like cell animated or CGI animated, it wouldn't land on you as much, I think, as what this movie does. So the stop motion really does play a big role in it for sure.
Totally. Well, another stop motion movie I really, really like. So I guess I'm changing my tune on
It sounds
this.
like it. Yeah, you're slowly much like him, I guess. These are your anomalisas that you're seeing. Oh, they're not all the same, and there are some artistry in the stop motion films. But yeah,
No,
this
I
like
never doubted that for sure.
okay.
The artist is always there. It was more like, do I love these movies? And
Yeah.
these two I do for sure.
Yeah. I just always was, always hard watching this film because I just think it does capture this the most, for me at least, the hardest feelings of loneliness are the ones where you're surrounded by people but you still feel this way. I think the movie
Yeah.
does a really good job of capturing it.
Yeah. And like you said, it sort of shows you the whys behind it.
Right.
What is in your control and what isn't in your control. What can you do about it? How do other people see you? Uh, there's just so many layers to that. And, you see all of it essentially.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And then there's some like interesting Easter egg sort of things too in the movie. Is Anomalisa or Lisa, I guess, is she even real?
Right. Right. Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing with the doll and all of
Mm-hmm.
that. So there's some like classic Charlie Kaufman kind of, Russian doll things that you have to scratch your head on a little bit. What did you make of all of that?
Yeah, it's funny. Like I'd heard about those theories after I saw it the first time, and I did not go.
Yeah,
This movie is not a movie. I think maybe this might be the second time I've seen it actually, but it had that
same.
much of an impact on me. So this time in watching it, I was looking for that theory or potential, like the fact that it could all be in his mind, and I definitely saw it. I don't know what it is. In a way, it actually makes the movie sadder because then it's like he's inventing his solution instead of finding a real person, even though he squanders that chance. He's never
Mm-hmm.
even going to find the chance, and he's inventing it in an inanimate object of this doll and pretending that
Mm-hmm.
this is the person that can kind of free him of this trap that he's placed himself in because he needs introspection and to not be so incredibly selfish. So what did you make of that? Is that something you picked up on the first time you saw it?
Oh no, it's only after I read things and I was like, oh, okay, I guess that does kind of make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure, because on one hand that theory does hold up, but then you see her, in the car and such with the friends. So
At
then
the end, yeah.
at the end, so you wonder if I guess she is real, but maybe they did meet, but then maybe nothing else really happened after. Who knows?
Right. But that's why I mean, Charlie Kaufman's one of my favorite filmmakers in the last 20 years, and all of his movies can be just picked apart in all these different ways, and it's why I love returning to them. Even hard watches like this because it does hit you, and there's so many different ways you can attack it. He's just such a unique talent.
It really is. And nothing is ever tied in a bow. You have to kind of
Exactly. Right.
live with it, parse through it,
Mm-hmm.
analyze it, and what have you. But I think this is the one that he did, 2 years ago with Jesse Buckley and all. That was
Oh.
very hard to watch, and also because it
Mm-hmm.
came out during the pandemic. Maybe
Yeah.
someday I should revisit it. But this one is definitely something that really stands out in his filmography to me.
Yeah, no, for me too, definitely. And I think it does go back to like the art form of the stop motion and what he
Yeah.
can have even more control over visually what's going on in the film because he's such a control, like, in his screenplays are so tight and controlling
Mm,
and things. So I wonder if I'll ever return to the medium. We'll see.
mm.
Hey there, it's Alex. If you like the review and discussion Karan and I just had, make sure you subscribe to our channel, Movies That Shaped Us, to get full episodes. Every other Wednesday, Karan and I cover a topic around important people, places, events, and moments in our lives, and then explore it through 3 of our favorite movies. Subscribe right now, or follow our podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts via the link in the description below. Hope you join us for the journey.